Ladies and gentlemen, buckle up. It is now time for another episode of Pixels, Plastic, and Ink right here on the Shadow Nose Network every Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific time, here live on the channel. We appreciate you being with us as we inch closer to Thanksgiving Day. We always love when you all hang out with us, talking toys, comic books, pop culture, films. We do it all. In this episode, we are talking about vampires. I know it's Halloween's over, but we thought it might be great to evaluate the vampire films of past and present and force rank them. We are going to come up with our top 5 vampire films of all time. So we're going to get into some healthy debates. We want you to comment. We want you to subscribe. We want you to like to help the channel grow. Plus, Black Friday is upon us pretty soon, and we're going to talk about all the hot deals, toys. And speaking of toys, what the hell is happening in the toy industry? NECA, a big toy manufacturer, messing up again. Plus, Denzel, we talked a bit about it. Denzel and Black Panthers. What's going on with Denzel and much, much more. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Pixels, Plastic, and Ink. Well, gentlemen, how are you all this fine Friday evening?
Awesome. I like to keep the spooky season going way past October.
Agreed.
I see that. It's very spooky. Doing well, Rad. Doing well.
Yeah,
Happy to be here.
Doing great myself. Chet and I just secured something for the channel that we're going to talk about tonight. But awesome news. Like, things keep growing, constantly working. Love being part of the network, my friend.
Love it. And it's always a spooky season at Chet's house because we have my pet monster always hanging out above Chet's shoulder. The classic plush from the 80s. Buffy the Vampire Slayer enjoyers. Well, we're definitely going to talk about where
we are.
Buffy the Vampire Slayer falls in the ranks of vampire films. So I think we shall get into it of our front-loaded topic of the evening, and that is vampire films, the good, the bad, and the ugly. What do you say?
Jump into it.
Yeah, I mean, this is gonna be a debate,
Oh boy. Okay, well, we've got 4 categories here that we are going to force rank, and again, just to remind everybody, we have to narrow it down to the top 5, and the top 5 is the Vampire's Kiss. So we're the top 5. We're going to force ourselves. There might be more, there might be less. And then we've got the second tier, the Daywalkers, which is like very close. Could have made the top 5, just below. Roasted Garlic, kind of the meh. All right, could have been enjoyable, maybe not rewatchable. And then the Stake Through the Heart, never come back, burn it, throw it in the Walmart DVD bin. We don't want to ever see it again. We probably have missed a couple of these films, some classic stuff, some current stuff. We'd spend 5 hours debating it. So we tried to narrow it down to some of the most relevant vampire films. So, gentlemen,
Twilight better be on there. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, it is. All right, well, let's get started. First off with 30 Days of Night, based off the graphic novel comic book series.
Walking Dead.
Gentlemen, where would you put 30 Days of Night?
Daywalker. It was
Day-
good,
Yeah.
but not great. It was close though, because those are scary vampires. It was a great concept.
You're saying it's close to like Daywalkers and Roasted Garlic, or Daywalkers and Vampire's Kiss?
More closer to Vampire's Kiss.
Okay. We're gonna move up to the top.
Yeah. let's do that. Oh.
I would say
Wow. That's
Or dog shit.
night,
You know,
Wow.
it's
I would say that it was Daywalkers. I'm assuming Nikki, you're talking about From Dusk Till Dawn, or are you talking about 30? Let us know. But I would put this in Daywalkers.
I'm going to agree with my toy box chronicle person. I definitely believe that's I would say put in that category. It definitely goes in there.
I think here's my take on 30 Days of Night is if I didn't read the books prior, it would have been maybe a bit more enjoyable. But knowing that the series in print form was way better, it wasn't executed on screen the way I thought it should be. Definitely to Dr. Brantley's point, some scary ass vampires, great concept.
Yes.
But I think it's probably the Daywalkers, maybe Roasted Garlic. I thought there were some elements of it that it was just maybe overly directed. So we're gonna put it in Daywalkers for now. And again, maybe it drops down. But next up we have, and there's multiple Twilights, but we have Twilight, just the franchise in general. We'll lead with the first one. Obviously, the big debate of the two vampire Batman. He got the Batman role from this, but what do we think about Twilight? I mean, this was such a pop culture phenomenon. Everyone's rocking around Team Edward. How do we think about Twilight here, gentlemen? Nikki weighing in. Nikki says Twilight #1.
Nikki, we've got some problems. We are like on the opposite spectrum because I think it is stake through the heart. I worked on these movies, all of them, and the behind the scenes, DVD, Blu-ray release stuff, and I hated about every second of it.
Wow. But not the money.
No, I'll take the money. I'll work on anything, but you don't have to like what you're working on. How many people go into office and go like, I love what I'm doing?
Look, I will say one thing. Look, it had a rabid fan base. One that when we went to that year's Comic-Con, I did not expect. So I'm gonna put a tad bit of respect on it because there is a lore. Kind of like I know it's a movie, a TV show we haven't put up, but the same thing. I laughed at the Vampire Diaries, and obviously that fan base was huge as well.
You can't laugh at that fan base. That's like
you can't. I gave major respect to that. It was the same way if you put in the Harry Potter fans. So I think it was more of a romance film compared to a vampire film. I just think vampires were the secondary part of it. But my God,
Mormon romance film.
I put most of the, specifically Twilight #1. I'll put that in Daywalkers, and I do that specifically because of the pop culture impact that it had. Regardless of what you think about the film, was it a vampire movie? It was just a Hallmark story about vampires, but the impact that it had in culture, it's got to be given credit for that.
It definitely did spark vampire, reignited the vampire fuel. Because
Crooked Smiles agrees with you on that.
I would say I would definitely say it's hard because I think as a film, I don't know, Dr. Brantley, stake through the heart. I mean, it wasn't that bad. I mean, there's some films out there we haven't gone through yet, but maybe because you saw the stuff on the editing room floor.
The man worked on these films, for God's sakes.
I had to watch them multiple times.
Okay,
so I know every bit about these movies, and they're bad. The first one especially is just very flat. Like there's no ups or downs. It's just kind of like
Wait, so which team are you, Edward?
Team Jacob, 100% all day, every day.
So he had to like him if he's part of a team. Damn it! It's like, for God's sakes, if you're part of a team.
Edward can suck it. He's this couple 100-year-old man going after like a 17-year-old girl in high school. Come on now.
Okay. Well, we're all over the place here. We've got vampire. No one said Vampire's Kiss.
Don't.
Set for Daywalkers. I got roasted garlic. Stake through the heart, Dr. Brantley. And Mr. Storm, I guess you're deciding its fate.
I've got to go with roasted garlic. I don't think it's a stake through the heart.
Okay.
I think, again, I got to respect the fandom on that one. But it's one of those, I saw it once. I did not need to see it twice.
Okay.
But again,
Okay.
it probably wasn't written for somebody like me anyway. So
That's true.
Yep.
You're not the
Hey,
target.
wait a minute. Is Blackula on this list? Did anybody put Blackula on this list?
Nope. We can add it.
Already, this thing's skewed wrong and everything. God's sakes, man. All right. I have to do a part 2 to this, man.
Okay, so we got Shadow of the Vampire is next. 2000 film. This was Willem Dafoe and John Malkovich. So a really good film, in my opinion. But love to get your thoughts on where this ranks.
Yeah, I loved this one. Willem Dafoe is great, and John Malkovich is good too. But Willem Dafoe really goes crazy as this vampire character. He was an actor playing a vampire, but he might really be a vampire.
Wasn't he nominated? I
yeah.
kind of remember. Yeah, he was nominated for an Academy. I think, was it Best Supporting Actor?
Might be Best Supporting Actor.
Yeah.
I think, but
yeah, he was nominated.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it's probably. I don't think it goes all the way to the Vampire Kiss, but I'll put it in Daywalkers.
Okay. Chat, where do you put Shadow of the Vampire?
Ugh, Daywalkers.
Okay,
And,
we are moving.
Vestman said, "What do we think about Renfield?" I don't know if it made this list, but I thought it was a funny movie.
We do have Nick Cage in this this batch of films, but Renfield's definitely not on this list. But I think Renfield was it was pretty entertaining, to be honest with you. I don't it's not a lot of comedies made this list, but we're gonna go on.
One of the few Nick Cage performances that I can actually stand as Dracula. He's great.
Yeah, he's really good. What do we say about Near Dark? Does anybody remember this film?
I don't
Hell
remember.
yeah.
I'm out. This is between you three.
Yeah.
No, this is good. This is, I think, Catherine Bigelow's first movie. It's a great action movie with vampires, and it's the Space Marines from Aliens. You got Bishop, you got Hudson, and you got Vasquez all in there. It's a lot of fun.
I mean, Bill Paxton and Lance
Daywalkers.
Henriksen in a damn vampire movie signed me up all day long. If you all haven't seen it, this is 1987, so I don't know what the ages of all the folks watching this live, or you're watching this after the fact that we're live, but this is a film if you're a, vampire fan or just horror in general. It's really good. I would put, not probably top 5, but I'm putting this in Daywalkers for sure.
Yeah.
I will say,
Okay.
I think Dr. Brentley made me watch this a couple of weeks ago. We were talking about it. I hadn't seen it, and I didn't know it was Catherine Bigelow's first film. And it was, and actually, compared to like another 80s film that he had me watch that Richard Donner did that stuck, this actually was a really good movie, I thought. But I think, it's not in the top 5, but it definitely goes in Daywalkers, man.
Next up, we have Fright Night. So they did make a Fright Night remake in 2011. This is the original Fright Night from 1985. and a really high score for Rotten Tomatoes, typically in the mid 80s of reviewed films. So, what do we think of Fright Night? This was Chris Sarandon, who was the star of this film, Roddy McDowall. Again, a lot of vampire films in the 80s. That was definitely a very popular, but what do we say for Fright Night?
Daywalker.
Yeah, like here's the thing about this. I feel like anything from the 80s has this. It's got a different feel to it because they had to be so good with practical effects because
Yes.
they couldn't just back out and be like, well, just throw more money at the digital. And you know that the days of like Henson and just actual like having to make something look realistic on film. I think a lot of the 80s, the late 80s, early 90s vampire movies have a tendency to probably overtake some of the newer ones just because of the way that it looks on film. This one for me is going to go in Daywalkers, but it's very close to Vampire's Kiss for me.
Yeah, the way it's shot too, like some of these 80s films, just the way it was shot on film, and especially that horror genre, it just had a different element. It was creepy. The music was great. A lot of these films didn't have like mega stars in it, and kind of had, I mean, Chris Sarandon, like, you know, these B kind of actors, which made it even more realistic. So I like Friday Night a lot. I'll put it in Daywalkers.
Daywalkers.
Fright Night to me is kind of like in the same way that there's classic movies in the 80s that kind of like transcend, and they're always fun movies to revisit. Fright Night's one of those fun. McDowell is absolutely really good in this role. I don't think that they did as good of a job in the remake compared to the first film, and it has one of those like if I would describe to people what Fright Night kind of like is within 80s lore, imagine it's something like the same vein of Richard Donner or like the Goonies kind of scenario in the 80s with vampires. It's just you can watch it as it's not that frightening, but there's moments where it takes it up, but it's just a fun movie. And it's a great one to watch on a Saturday afternoon if you got nothing to do. It's a great film. So I put it in Daywalkers. It's not quite the Vampire's Kiss and everything, but it's a great popcorn film.
Truth.
Next up,
buttered
we
popcorn.
have butter popcorn. Do you put butter popcorn? Are you popcorn? You do the popcorn and then the butter, and then the popcorn and the butter, or are you just the popcorn and butter on top, or you no butter, Mr. Storm? Do you do butter layers on your popcorn?
Butter on top, brother.
Just
Yeah,
on the
it's
top.
all the heart
Dr.
disease on top,
Brantley.
bro.
Dr.
Layers. I used to work at a man theater, so I know all about
You
how
did.
to do the different scoop it up. put it in.
That was just like a theater for men.
No.
Oh,
Two
wrong
ends.
answer. Oh, got it. Okay, yeah, my bad.
Ted, how do you take your popcorn?
Cooked. Usually, I don't like it when they give me a bowl of kernels, but if I had to do the butter, yeah, I gotta layer it and then also dump all that shit on top.
Okay, it's a bowl of butter with popcorn. A little
Yeah,
popcorn
fun
sprinkles.
fact. That smell that's in most theaters is actually the butter in the carpet.
Fake.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Other than that, from
We
a
are
friend of mine.
we are moving to Blade. And now we know
Oh,
there's
yeah.
multiple Blades.
All the way to the top.
Just move this one up to the top. We
But
don't need
funny
to talk
enough,
too much
This
about
is
that.
the easy one.
Funny
Easy
enough,
one, man.
if you go to Rotten Tomatoes, Blade doesn't get the best reviews. But you know, comic book genre, but also really establishing like the most badass vampire killer hunter. Wesley defines this genre, and regardless of what all the fans say, I think we're all in alignment that Blade, Deacon Frost, one of the best. We talked about one of the best bad villains, evil vampires in these films. Definitely belongs up top.
I will say the one thing about Blade is that it has, if you're studying films in any way, it has one of the great first 5 minutes of most movies. Like the minute that he actually walks into that club, it is probably Stephen Norrington gets a lot of flack for League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, but like his first, if you had a first outing in a film as a filmmaker, you wish that you had this outing because Blade doesn't. And if you don't have Blade, you probably don't have the MCU. So,
Oh, for sure.
you know, you got to give credit to Wesley Snipes. He murdered this genre, and he did it so bad that poor Monsieur Ali will never be Blade.
There will only be one Blade.
Oh,
And he pretty much
man.
saved Marvel as well.
he
from
did.
bankruptcy.
He did.
He did. Next up is another franchise. And the first one was good. The other ones were not. But where do we put Underworld? Now, there's some werewolves involved in this, but there's also vampires. And we know the story of a gentleman in this that definitely got screwed out of a lot of money. We won't tell the story here,
Yes, we
but
do.
Underworld. What do you think?
I'm biased
Well,
on this one.
I'm
so
going
I'll
to
let
do it in
everyone
the
else go.
voice. Yeah. I'm going to have to do it in the person that we know that we've interviewed, a friend of the show, Mr. Kevin Grievous. I thought it was a bitchin' film. It's like I will put this in. It is one of the first introductions of a film that it's hard because it's almost a vampire's kiss. It just misses a little something, but it's a great film. It's a great action film. And who thought, you know, and first of all, again, like I remember our buddy Terrell that watched it was like he didn't even know who Kevin Greaves was. It's the Black Werewolf, and that's the only thing that he ever remembered from it. But it's a great movie, but I still think it falls into Daywalker. I don't think it quite gets. It's almost a vampire's kiss, but something's missing out of it. But it's a good first film in the genre.
I'm gonna have to say roasted garlic. I'm not as high on this movie.
Damn.
When we first saw it, me and my friend, after like the first 20 minutes, we decided to turn it into a drinking game with how many times somebody opens a giant door and walks through. And you will not believe when you watch this movie again how many times they spend the time of opening giant doors and walking through. It's stupid and ridiculous. And so I might have lost,
Okay,
any
but
hope for
to
it
be
then.
honest with you, almost every movie you watch is a drinking game, though. So,
Well,
you know.
only if it's bad is that I start making stuff up,
I thought she was great in it, though. She played the
Yeah.
role so well. Like
It was cool.
Yeah,
There's some cool stuff, but it's the same as Resident Evil. It's like there's some cool stuff in there. Mila Jovovich is great, but some of it's just stupid.
Okay, Chet, Underworld.
I mean, I told you I'm biased, but after listening to everyone's, like, I'll put it in the location that I feel that it goes. But Underworld, for me, I'll put it in Daywalkers. But I'm biased towards this, and also Resident Evil movies for specific reasons I can't mention on film. So.
Well, I have to go with Dr. Brantley's thoughts here, and I think it's in roasted garlic as much as there are some cool elements. So it sounds like we've got Daywalkers and roasted garlic tie. This is when we turn to the chat. Put in the chat, is it roasted garlic or is it Daywalkers? Is it close to being a vampire's kiss or a bit far off? Put it in the chat right now so we can see. We'll let the chat vote. Even one vote is helpful.
You thought Scott Speedman was a legitimate leading man, go ahead and vote for it.
Wait, isn't Scott Speedman the lead singer?
You do know we know this man, right? You do know that, like, at one point that he's gonna want that Kevin Greaves is gonna want to come on the show, and you're saying this.
Well, he didn't have control over it after he wrote it.
Okay,
so I can't blame him for how it turned out.
Okay, we're putting Underworld for.
It's a great concept.
We're putting Underworld and Daywalkers for the political aspect of the show to secure future interview guests. And that Crooked Smile was the only one in the chat to say something. Next up, from Dusk Till Dawn, Robert Rodriguez and Quentin Tarantino and George Clooney. What do we say here? The infamous Salma Hayek scene, and you've got Clooney with the short haircut that everyone wanted after the film, and just craziness at the end of this film. Where do we put this?
This is roasted garlic for me.
I can go along with that.
I don't like this film. Like, cool. I'm glad you wanted the haircuts. Fucking fantastic. Go cut your fucking hair. I would rather watch a movie, which I didn't get to do when I watched this one. So,
Oh wow.
The last the end of it was nuts. It was
yeah, it was
like,
the end was the best part because I knew in like 2 minutes I got to walk to my car and leave.
Wow.
I didn't think it was that bad. But
I couldn't.
okay,
I mean,
all
there's
right.
some fun stuff in it, but yeah, it's I don't know. It does not hold up well, I don't think.
You know,
All right.
I'll be honest with you. I think it's just it's a B movie. It was meant to be a B movie, like Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez likes. I think it's a fun afternoon movie. Summer Hike is absolutely the best part of that movie. To be quite honest with you, it's like today I can't see a snake or a Summer Hike in any same way ever again.
Or tequila.
And
Curtain
also,
Smiles.
go ahead, Chet.
Oh, yeah, he said From Dusk Till Dawn is less of a vampire movie than Twilight. So,
Yes.
There's
Well,
that.
that's true because there's a lot of family melodrama and everything. Look, you make it to if they just did more of the last 30 minutes of the movie than the entire film, then yeah, I could put it into the Daywalker category. I'm gonna say yeah, roasted garlic only because it's only 30 minutes of an actual vampire movie, but those are great 30 minutes though, man. Now, if you haven't seen, because on El Rey Network that Robert Rodriguez had, he did the 30 Days of Night series that actually gives better context to the entire movie, I think, in the series line. So if you haven't seen that, that's worth the watch. But yeah, you can. And matter of fact, you can probably skip the movie and watch the series, and you'll get a better estimate of what the film should have been. So, yeah, I'll put in roasted garlic as well.
Okay, roasted garlic it is. Next up, well, Bram Stoker's Dracula. And as we know, we've got Gary Oldman in this film. What do you say of Bram Stoker's Dracula?
Because we rewatched it last year
We did.
for the retrospect series, I realized that this is a secret comedy. This is not meant to be taken seriously. And for that reason, I'm going to put it in roasted garlic. But I think it was intended to be a comedy and people took it serious. You should rewatch it and think that because it's ridiculous.
And a shameless plug, rewatch the retrospect, the Dracula part. I think that's episode 3, if I'm not mistaken.
3 or 4.
You definitely want to go back and watch it because it's pretty good. Look, I love what Francis Ford Coppola was trying to do. There's moments where it's great, and then it's like, I'll be honest with you, this is one of the few times where I just thought Anthony Hopkins came in and just fucked this up. he just when Anthony Hopkins comes in, he just destroys the momentum of the movie. But Gary Oldman is fantastic in this film. I will I think because of Anthony Hopkins, this goes to roasted garlic, unfortunately.
So technically, Anthony Hopkins killed Dracula and the Wolfman.
Yeah, he did. He did. That was another episode of the retrospect, but yeah, I think it goes to roasted garlic only because it's at moments it's a serious movie and it goes through, and then all of a sudden Anthony Hopkins comes in and he acts like he's acting in a completely different film and he's in a comedy. And the same thing he did the same thing with Wolfman. So
he might have been.
The lesson here is don't hire Anthony Hopkins for any horror movies other than him eating somebody, because other than that, that's not working.
Well, it sounds like Chet. Are you aligned with roasted garlic?
I mean, Dr. Acula sold me on it, so yep. Roasted garlic it is.
Roasted.
And now I'm gonna go back and rewatch it. So
yes,
definitely
it does deserve to be rewatched.
and you laugh
Next
your
up,
ass off.
we've got The Horror of Dracula, the 1958 film, and Christopher Lee as Count Dracula. I remember watching this maybe 5, 6 years ago. It was really good, and Christopher Lee was really good.
Right.
It's day. I'm looking at the thing. It's very close to a vampire's kiss, but I'm gonna put it in Daywalkers.
Oh, no. I can't do that. Like I said, this one we did actually is on the same episode that we did of the retrospect. This is a Hammer film. This is probably one of the better Dracula films that I've ever seen. That goes in Vampire Kiss for myself, and I don't even need to Dr. Brentley to agree with that because I damn straight know he's going to say that. This was almost better than Bela Lugosi's performance. It's fantastic. You've got, so many great actors in this movie. There's some, well, if NECA wasn't screwing up, there's some great NECA figures out there. But this goes into Vampire's Kiss. It's one of the better films. If you've never seen any of the Hammer movies, they are worth to watch. There's a Mummy, there's a werewolf film that's not worth to watch. Bomb Snowman. This is one of those. It has of course, one of my favorite actors of all time, Peter Cushing. That is fantastic in this movie. This goes to a Vampire Kiss for me, man.
Okay.
Yeah, and the color is stunning in it. The way that they do the blood, all these things, they were very meticulous with it. And it is worth a watch. It is, well, yeah, definitely one of the better Hammer ones. And I was kind of on the fence, but I'll go with the Vampire's Kiss for now.
Okay. Mr. Chet Maddox, we've got 2 Vampire's Kiss, 1 Daywalkers. What say you?
From when I watched it, it lands in Daywalkers for me, so I'm curious to rewatch it. But I'm a solid Daywalkers right now.
Okay, we are split. We turn to the chat again. Vampire's Kiss or Daywalkers? Which one is it? Christopher Lee's performance, 1958. Man, Christopher Lee has done some incredible roles over the course and time of his legendary career. We got Crooked Smile said Christopher Lee is the best Dracula. Does that mean you think it belongs in the top 5? Countdown to 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4,
if he's the
3,
best.
2, 1. We'll wait on the chat for that, and we will move on. We'll place this in just a few seconds. We're going to move on to another classic Dracula, which is Dracula. Carl Emily's presents Dracula. Bela Lugosi, the OG, 1931. Top 5 for Horror of Dracula based on chat's recommendations. So, gentlemen, Dracula, Bela Lugosi, the legendary horror classic horror film. What do you think here?
It's hard to. It is probably one of the when people think about vampire movies, they think about this one. He's organic, even to the point where he was buried in that actual costume because he was such a recognizable figure as that character. I think it goes into a Vampire's Kiss for me. Every year that there's Halloween, I watch it. It's Bela Lugosi is the best thing out of the entire movie. I know Dr. Brentley has one part of the film that we constantly discuss that he absolutely hates near the end, but I think it was a really good one. But in that same texture, I will give people also a little bit of context. They did a shot-for-shot Spanish version of this film, and if you haven't seen that, I wish we would have had that because that definitely would have to go. That'd be a candidate for number 6 on out of the top 5. We have to be add another category to it, but it's also worth the watch. Great performances there, even through the Spanish subtitling. It's a great performance. But yeah, Bela Lugosi, I've got to put him always in the top 5.
I'd say Daywalker just because the movie is so old that it doesn't have some of the, same dynamics that we're used to. I mean, it's almost 100 years old now. We're coming up on it. And yeah, but his performance is great. He pretty much created him and Max Schreck, who did Nosferatu, pretty much created the entire thing of what we think of as vampires in film. But the film is not quite up to the top for me.
I agree. I think it's Daywalkers. It's I mean, part of it is like if you're just like super classic black and white enthusiast, I can see maybe if you really enjoy those films, you might put it in Vampire's Kiss. But I think if I'm comparing it to all of these other films, it's just a notch below. Bela Lugosi, the legend, but the film in its entirety is just a tad below Vampire's Kiss.
Yeah, I'm Daywalkers. But that's not taken away from Bela Lugosi. I mean, fantastic Dracula, but just it's a strong Daywalker for me. It's like it's such a strong Daywalker that it could basically walk like at nighttime too, not just day. So
there you go. Next up, The Lost Boys. One of the classic films from the 80s, Corey Feldman, Corey Haim. You had the iconic performance of Kiefer Sutherland. What do you think about The Lost Boys?
It's fun.
yeah. It's fun.
Not
It's
top 5.
It's as fun as watching roasted garlic, if you catch what I'm saying.
Oh man,
I say Daywalker, but
yeah, it's Daywalker.
Yeah, it's got to be Daywalker. Come on, man.
Well, you guys are all entitled to be wrong. Hey, look,
just for the meeting of the Coreys.
You're all entitled to be wrong. It's totally fine.
It captured that genre of that era, the music, that type of film. You had iconic characters and actors from the 80s. As you said, the Coreys were in it. There was a little spookiness to it, a little cheesiness. Like I said, Kiefer Sutherland was really good as the bad guy. Jason.
It was Joel Schumacher on a leash.
Yeah.
Batman and Robin, no leash. He's just doing shit that's crazy. But this, he's like, there's crazy elements, but also it's dialed back enough to be a cohesive movie.
Yeah.
I agree with him in the same way. I think I don't think it's roasted garlic, for God's sakes. It's in the same way like Fright Night, where it's just a fun movie, but and there are moments. There's a lot of great actors that turned out in that film, but I do believe that it moves itself over into the not quite up there when you can't put them to the top 5.
It's fine.
Next up, Interview with the Vampire. Tom Cruise, Brad Pitt. A lot of buzz. What say you?
This is one of those if I hadn't seen the AMC series out now, this probably was going to be one of the better ones. But once you see the AMC series, it kind of just destroys the whole context of this movie, unfortunately.
Didn't this movie have Dakota Fanning? Dakota Fanning was the girl in it, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
No, it was
Kirsten Dunst.
Kirsten Dunst.
The other Fanning.
It is not. This is the reason why I'll say it's roasted garlic. Let us get me here.
Oh.
It's because one, Tom Cruise just pales in comparison in this film. I think that in all ways and shape, Brad Pitt does a fantastic job. I think Tom Cruise is so over the damn top that it hurts. And plus, also we know this guy's like 5'4", so he doesn't seem to have the impression of a vampire that you're really scared about. So I don't think that worked. I thought Christian Slater was fantastic in it. It had its moment. Kristen Durst was great. Antonio Banderas was pretty good. But this one falls into the roasted garlic because it's just, again, now that I've seen the AMC series, it just murders this film. And you're like, wow, they really did not do Anne Rice's book, which she wrote for the first time sober, any kind of credit. So I will say that this goes to roasted garlic for me, man.
I don't know. The book was tough to get through, and the movie I thought did very good job because, and people may not remember when this came out before the internet. Really, people were saying, "Oh, Tom Cruise, that's terrible casting. He's going to be awful." I thought that he actually did a very good job, and I haven't seen the series, but you know, just on this performance of his, I thought it was really good. Daywalker, though, not any higher than that.
I put in a Daywalker.
Okay. Chet?
Yeah, I could go. I could go with Daywalker. I was gonna say roasted garlic, but I could see where it'd be Daywalker.
Okay.
The only reason why I'm saying roasted garlic is like, I think that there was points in the film that were just a little overdone from Tom Cruise's point of view. I just felt like there was a lot happening. Kind of calm down a bit. But I get the need for Daywalker. I get it.
Yeah. And Rooker Small said that Anne Rice hated this movie more than Stephen King hated The Shining. So, but then again, Stephen King did say that the last Salem's Lot on Max was a good film either. So I don't trust Stephen King anymore.
We're gonna get to the original Salem's Lot, but yeah, the recent Salem's Lot
that's going to be controversial this year. I can tell you that.
Yeah. Next up, What We Do in the Shadows, that is turned into a Hulu series. This movie is great, and the series is great. I don't know. Have you all watched it? It's so good.
Yes.
I had no idea about it. Like, maybe because when I first watched the film, I'm like, what is this? And I'm like, this is really good. And then anytime there's like a spin-off series, you're like, oh God. And I was like, it's equally as good. So I don't know if it's top 5, but it's definitely Daywalkers for me. But it's one of the best comedic, quirky vampire franchises that you can watch. It's very entertaining, very well written, good acting. I think it's definitely, for me, one of the easiest to get through. And again, just really well done.
I might put this up on Vampire's Kiss.
I mean, I just articulated what you would define as Vampire's Kiss. Actually, I just said really well acted, directed franchises. And I'm like, shit, I haven't said that about any of these other films. You might be right. I might push it to Vampire's Kiss.
It's one of the best like mockumentaries. It's great on just vampire lore in dealing with it in a comedic way that you haven't thought of before. And the series, I think, is even better. It's really good.
Yeah, I'm not going to put in Vampire's Kiss, but I will put in Daywalkers. I thought it was enjoyable. I think the series is actually a little bit better than the movie. But it definitely, for film wise, it goes in Daywalkers. I enjoyed it. I thought it was funny. But I've enjoyed the series way more. So,
well, you couldn't have done that if the movie didn't exist.
I probably could have and shit, because Tiki White such a whore for films. You would definitely 100% got it made somewhere down the line. So let's be honest.
All right,
Chet,
is it here or here?
It's top.
Wow, here we go. We got 2 slots left here with only a couple films left to go. Thanks for tuning in every Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific time. This is Pixels Plastic Inc. on the Shadow Nose Network. Please subscribe, like, drop a comment. We appreciate you all being here live with us on a Friday. We jump to the next one, and well, the classic, the oldest of the films here, and that is the original Nosferatu.
If you haven't seen it, it is worth it. It's, again, it is so old
1922.
Okay, so it's over 100 years old now.
Yeah.
It doesn't work as a modern viewer. You know, it is tough to get through some stuff, but there is things that, like the shadow work, him as the monster, it is great. It is just a little tough to get through in some parts. But it's Daywalker, not all the way to the top.
Yeah, I think the same thing because of the datedness of it, and that's the same problem we have with some of the Universal films as well, is that it's dated, and it's. I don't think a lot of people outside of the purist will want to sit there and watch it. I don't think you're going to get anybody that's not in the films to watch it. But it's great performances. It does show a modern point of how Hollywood did things, and it did define the genre as like one of the basic kind of situations where it defines even the book sometimes of Bram Stoker's Dracula. I think it is. I think it moves into Daywalkers, and I'm interested to see the new remake of it because I've heard that there's obviously a great chance that when we do this again, that may be in Vampire's Kiss because people are saying this is a phenomenal film. So, I give it credit that it's last. I think there's 4 adaptations of this movie. It goes to show how strong it's been. So yeah, I would say it's Daywalkers for me, man.
Yeah, it's getting rave reviews, and that movie comes out, I think, in just a few weeks in December. But the pre-screens and the Rotten Tomato score is like scary great. So I agree. Daywalkers again with Dr. Brantley's opinion there. I think it's tough to get through some parts, being how old it is. But if you're, appreciator of film, appreciative of some of the early ways of filmmaking and just the film that kind of started it all in the vampire franchise. It is creepy still. It is creepy from 1922, and makeup's really done well. So I put it Daywalkers. It's close to Vampire's Kiss, but definitely Daywalkers for me.
Yep, same.
Okay. I have
Before
a
you even
feeling
say
the
the next one,
couple.
It's Morbin time.
It's Morbin time because we don't have a lot of roasted garlics, and we definitely don't have steak through the heart. But I have a suspicion over the next couple of films we may find our first selection. And as Dr. Brantley said, it is Morbin time. Morbius.
Wow.
The Marvel Sony. Kind of a disaster, if you will. It became kind of a cult thing for a bit, but didn't make the cult money. It just was kind of more of a funny meme type of thing. They tried to re-release it in theaters to capitalize on it. Didn't do well. So it was like Snakes on the Plane. If you it got a lot of buzz, then it was like kind of a joke a bit, re-released. Morbin time for me is stake right through the center of the heart.
Yep.
The
movie's so nice it failed twice.
It is what Sony does best: put out garbage. It goes to stake through the heart. It was a complete waste of time, and I am disappointed by every time I see Sony do one of these side characters from Spider-Man because they really messed up a character in the comics that actually is pretty good. And here's the funny thing: they did it well in the animated show. For God's sakes, if you could get like a 30-minute animated show that could do this character better. And also here's one reason why I thought it was garbage. Tyrese was in it. Tyrese.
Well, it sounds like it's Morbin time in Stake Through the Heart. Unless, Chat, you have a controversial opinion for the crew.
Well, I was just trying to figure out what was lower than Stake Through the Heart, but I guess we'll have to go with
that. We've got Queen of the Damned, if you all remember this with Aaliyah.
Yeah, I do.
And rest in peace. I have to admit I never saw this, nor do I ever want to see it, but I'm curious if any of you have watched it and where you'd rank it.
Yeah, well, this is awkward.
I saw it as the follow-up to Interview with a Vampire. They did not execute this at all properly, and I understand that Aaliyah passed away before she could do her performances in it, but this one was like, if Anne Rice didn't like Interview with a Vampire, she damn straight hated this. This movie was terrible. And Chet's right. If there's any time or any place that we could get that's below, like I said, stake to the heart. This is one of those. Maybe there's a category. Can someone refund my money? Because that movie stinks, man. It's probably one of the. Well, I'm looking at the list. There's some other clunkers coming here, so the stake through the heart's not going to get any level of loneliness because there's about to be several things that's about to drop into this. I don't think we got enough to get to 5, to be honest with you.
Yeah. This movie, I saw it once and instantly forgot it.
Well, don't forget
Like people
about
forgot Robert
Abraham
Townsend's career.
Lincoln, Vampire Hunter.
This is so ridiculous. I actually
it was a
liked
good book, actually. Yeah, it was a good book. I didn't think that it was that great of a film, but I think it goes in roasted garlic. But I thought the book was way better than the film, but it had the potential because I'm like, well, you know what? You know, you want to get people to understand history? Throw some vampires in it. No, it did not do Abe Lincoln any favors here.
When you come up with a concept so dumb, you know, like this, it deserves to be seen. And they did what they set out to accomplish, I think. It is Abraham Lincoln, Vampire Hunter. What do you expect? But it's roasted garlic.
I heard Daniel Day-Lewis was up for this role too.
Yeah, but he chose Lincoln instead.
Yeah.
Okay, smarter one for him.
They should have done Benjamin Franklin Zombie Killer, but I guess they went with Abraham Lincoln instead.
There should have been a whole. You're right. It should have been like the Founding Fathers universe.
Hey, we might be onto something. Actually, they're desperate for content in Hollywood.
That's true.
Yeah, roasted garlic. It was like somewhat entertaining, but ridiculous concept, and there was parts where it was a bit brutal.
Yeah.
Chet.
Yeah, it's roasted garlic.
That was painful.
Okay.
It was rough.
Roasted garlic. We got Salem's Lot, so not this new one that hit Max this I think this year, right? 2024. This one is the, I believe, was this 79?
This is the banger one. This one's great, right?
Yeah, Salem's Lot, based off the Stephen King book from 1975. Salem's Lot,
No. Dr. Bentley has a way about this. We all know because we've had many debates about this. Like, you know, from time to time, whenever we sit down and we do the Salem's Lot thing. Look, I'll be honest with you. Like the new Salem Lot, it's a piece of shit. The new Salem's Lot is not worth the time. This was, at least when you have to go back and say 1979 was better than something they did in actually 2022 because they took 2 whole years because the new version is so crappy that they had to sit on it for 2022. In fact, it's so bad that they didn't even change the copyright date on the film. It says 2022 at the bottom of the film. So I thought it had its good moments for a TV miniseries. This is not something that we're going to put on to the big film stage. This was something that was on ABC in 1979. I think it moves into, it's not quite the Daywalkers. It's in between Roasted Garlic and Daywalkers, but I can put it in Daywalkers.
Yeah, I think garlic, because it's not scary at all. I don't think. And the little kid floating outside the window, open up. It was so stupid, and it looked bad. But yes, it was 1979. But also, 2 years before, we had Star Wars, so they could do some stuff.
Halloween,
Star Wars was in the theater.
Carpenter.
Battlestar Galactica was on TV.
Halloween.
Yeah, and that really had a long endurance.
Okay. This is roasted garlic for me.
Okay.
Chet thinks it's the vampire kiss, right?
Nope, it's roasted garlic.
Vampire Slayer, a good old Buffy that turned into a TV series.
Thank you.
Man, this one's tough because this really like defined the next genre of vampire films and stuff. And I really like this film actually. And I know it doesn't get really great reviews, but Paul Rubens, like,
Yes. One
he's
of the
so
best death scenes in film history.
Okay, here's the controversy. I'm gonna get shit for it. I think it's Vampire's Kiss.
I'm not
I
going
think
to
it's
argue
Vampire's
too
Kiss.
hardly
You know,
with you,
yeah.
because it is good.
It's so good. It's rewatchable. It's cheesy. It's funny.
Yeah,
It's
Luke
actually
Perry,
well written. Come on,
Donald Sutherland. I saw this in a theater, and it was really good, and it spawned the whole TV show, which took it to an even higher level. But as the concept, this was very well done.
Yeah.
Joss Whedon, first
I think it's
screenplay.
one of
That is true.
Yeah, I don't think you should mention that part. Like,
Well,
he
look,
took it to a all new
he can
level,
write
didn't
some
he?
stuff good. How he treats people is another thing.
And choke out an actor, I'll tell you that. It's like, it's not just Dave Chappelle choking out people. It says my man up there at the point. I think it definitely gets into the Vampire's Kiss because it spawned 10 seasons of a TV show just off the concept. When you hear that title, it sounds like it's gonna be like a pile of garbage that's some B movie. And you sit there and you're like, well, actually, the title actually says it all. It's I think the whole cheerleading and aspects of high school and everything, it's one that's done right. It is a B movie, but it is an A when it comes to just appreciation of the genre itself. It's so out there that it works. So yeah, I'm gonna definitely put that in Vampire's Kiss. It's quirky, it's funny, it's a good time.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Okay, Christy Swanson, you get a film in Vampire's Kiss. Next up, John Carpenter. Speaking of Halloween's vampires with James Woods as the star. I don't remember. This one was like late 90s, I think 99, 90, 99. I vaguely remember this. I think I watched it one time, and I don't know. Definitely not too much on my radar here. I don't know if you all recall if this was any good.
I don't remember.
I can tell you, look, there's a couple of John Carpenter films that's like up there. This is not one of them. This was disappointing because look, I don't know if James Wood is the reason why this didn't work because he just didn't seem like the type of hero that I think this worked for. And I know they made some sequels that went direct to video. This one should have went direct to vehicle. This is a roasted garlic. It's not so bad that it's not unwatchable. It's just not a very good directed or written film. And the status that it's not complete garbage, but it's one actor away from being it. So it goes to roasted garlic for me.
Yeah, it should have been a home run with John Carpenter doing vampires with James Woods, because whatever you think of the man, he is a good actor. And it was so close. There's some good parts. He's, got the snarky stuff, but yeah, it just didn't quite work.
Sounds like it's roasted garlic to me.
Smell says it all.
Roasted garlic.
Yes, sir.
Man, this next one was really brutal for me. Dracula Untold. Did you all see this?
I liked this movie.
I saw it.
I
actually think that it doesn't go in the top 5, but
No,
it
Daywalker.
was a different concept. And I was upset about this because when you see some of the deleted scenes as well, they're like, wow, they left some good portions on it. I thought, look, as far as to do the whole dark universe crap, well, again, Tom Cruise did a killing of that. And again, this is one of those, thank you, Tom Cruise, because I didn't want to see Johnny Depp's Invisible Man. So this is a thank you. But out of the dark universe, this was one of the better films. I don't know if they said Dracula Untold. I think the titling kind of messes it up. But it's definitely a Daywalker film. There's some great moments, some great effects, some good acting. And I also thought the whole concept of the cave scenario worked out extremely well. I just think that again, Tom Cruise, he murdered the dark universe. That's all.
You all,
But
you all must have this must have been at a time when no other movies were out because when I watched this, I had you better Olive Garden the fucking bread. Like that's the kind of garlicky taste I had after this. This is the definitive roasted garlic for me because it had so much potential and did not deliver, in my opinion. So I don't know what movie you all watched,
well,
but this
But
is
we've
definitely
reviewed
not a
this on
daywalker
an
for me.
episode of the
yeah,
retrospect. Damn it! So
I
it
don't
had to be
know. Yeah,
good.
well,
it
you
it
are
was an
you
action
sure?
movie with
What kind of
Dracula,
what were
Uh-huh.
you drinking? Was this did you
and
anytime
well, I was
eat
Well, we were
probably drinking,
drinking, but
yes, but
yeah, yeah, we were
it's
drinking,
still
but
it was good. Now the ending, the very ending, is terrible because they were trying to set stuff up, and that was just stupid. But
yeah, that
the most of it I
I
thought
meant to
was really
disagree.
good because
Yeah,
they were building it as sort of a comic book action movie take on Dracula, and there was some good stuff in there. It's fun.
it should have been called Dracula
well,
Unseen because both box office and Rotten Tomatoes at 26%. You two must be the only ones that think this movie is close to Daywalkers. Unless Chet, if you maybe
that's all
you're
right. Hey,
on their side.
I'll,
Maybe I don't know. You
I'll
may have
take that
been
every day of the
drinking
week, man.
Chet.
No,
Uh,
Chet drinks the Kool-Aid too, brother.
not on this film, I don't. I don't drink that fucking Kool-Aid. Yeah, this is like floating between steak and garlic.
Ooh,
So
There
Wow.
you go.
All right.
well,
I just think it's like this movie is like it was like watching someone read a Stephen King book. Like you're excited and then the end just sucks. So I mean the acting, see, I mean look at the fucking films at the bottom. Like this shit, nah, it's got to go in roasted garlic because I mean it's not.
yeah.
It's better than the other two. And Meeks, you are correct. Sugar-free Kool-Aid.
Okay, we're
Exactly.
look. So we had some Daywalkers. We had some. We're gonna
Okay.
put it in roasted. It's
Yeah,
Okay.
I think it lives in roasted. I'm just saying, like, if the other two weren't there setting the bar, it'd probably be in steak.
Oh
For
God,
those of
yeah.
you watching us for the very first time, there is the retrospect series on the channel Shadow Knows Network, and Dr. Brantley and Mr. Storm do retrospects on different types of genres and films. So maybe you watch the Dracula retrospect, you might change your feelings. I don't know how you're thinking about this, but definitely we're a bit split here. We've only got a couple films left. We got one more slot for our top five in Vampire's Kiss, and that is Vampire's Kiss with Nicolas Cage, the comedy.
Yeah.
I think that one image of him in this film has turned into quite the meme. 1988, got Nick Cage, Jennifer Beals, a few other actors, but what do you think? Definitely not the Vampire's Kiss for me. My thoughts would be probably in the roasted garlic for this one.
Or
I'm gonna give
lower.
you a future prediction here that I don't think we're getting the 5 films, not this one, because I'm looking at what's left. Ain't no 5 films in this one, and so we're stopping at 4. So let's be honest, this was a stake through the heart. And I'll be honest with you, you've almost got a couple, one more at least steak left out and everything. And like, yeah, Crooked Smile says it all. I much
Hmm.
rather watch Once Bitten, which was
Yeah.
another stake through
Jim
the heart,
Carrey.
but at
Jim
least a
Carrey
better
is
film.
more controlled and on evil level than Nick Cage is in this movie, and that's saying something.
Yeah.
It's so bad. I hate it.
A stake through the heart. Daybreakers. This had I don't know. Have you seen this? It had a really good cast.
And good
It was a
concept.
better
Disappointing.
film than I thought it was going to
Yeah.
be.
Yep.
Yeah. Yes. That is absolutely sums up. It was better than I thought it was. There was some good acting in it, but it was ultimately disappointing. It's not. I put it only because the concept was I could put it in. Daywalkers. I don't think it was quite roasted garlic because there are some good moments in the film, but it does disappoint.
Yeah,
Yeah, you had
Daywalkers is.
Ethan Hawke, William Dafoe, Sam Neill. You'd think them in a vampire film would go well together.
Mhm.
Didn't
Yeah.
turn out that way. Dark Shadows.
Oh,
Yeah, this one. Is there a category below Stake to the Heart? This one I think is I need somebody to give me back my damn money. This one's terrible.
it's on the Morbin level. You know,
It is on the Morbin level.
It is a terrible film.
Morbin time. This one I think is a duplicate. So we have to force ourselves our top 5, folks. So before we adjourn here into our next segment, we've got to move one of our daywalkers.
Where would Blackula go?
I don't know.
Daywalker?
Where would Blackula go? Look. Yeah, I had to go Daywalker for me, man. But me and Meeks are probably the only 2 damn people seen it.
I've seen it.
No,
Yeah, well,
just Storm and Meeks, not you.
Scream, Blackula, scream.
You all nominate one of the Daywalker films into Vampire's Kiss.
Probably Dracula, just for the
Bela Lugosi. Yeah.
I would move Dracula up there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there you have it,
Right.
folks. The top 5 vampire films of all time. Blade, Horror of Dracula, Christopher Lee's take on the 1968? And then What We Do in the Shadows is turned into a successful TV series. Buffy the Vampire Slayer, that also turned into a much long TV series. And then the OG Dracula, Bela Lugosi, rest in peace. There you have it.
2 comedies.
So, yeah,
that's crazy.
That's crazy.
Now, I will say this, though. I think we have to part 2 this to come back because, again, there's movies like Blackula is not on this list, which is a clear defined Last Ride of the Demeanor. It's not on this list. I will also have to say that there's a couple other, Underworld 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, or whatever. There's a lot of
they
things
can go right straight
that
through
we
the heart.
kind of missed out on it. There's no Dracula 2000 for God's sakes.
Yeah, that would have been a Vampire's Kiss.
Oh no.
Do you want more Stake Through Your Heart and waste the audience's time, Mr. Storm? Is that what you're asking? Because most of those
I
films
think we
are
got to
at the bottom.
revisit this sometime in 2025. I think we've definitely got to do that, man.
Oh my goodness. Okay, well,
but still, as long as Blade made it, I'm good.
Hey, there will always be just one Blade, and I hope they make that movie and put Wesley Snipes Vampire Brooklyn. I mean,
so far none of these are getting to Vampire's Kiss, I'll tell you that.
But I do love Eddie Murphy with the hair and oh man, he was great. Yeah. Okay, well, we got just a few minutes left. We're gonna roll right into Shadow SKN News, Shadow Knows News, Mr. Storm.
Real quick, want to say hi over to Nerds and Hip Hop over on Instagram. Thanks for stopping by.
Nerds and Hip Hop. Thanks,
and
man.
Dr. Akon Jones, thanks for stopping by. So
appreciate it. George
Love
Hamilton.
it first bite.
Ugh.
Yeah, that was he's going deep. He's showing his age here. All right, so we're gonna roll through this, and guess what? It's a Friday night, and everybody says, "Hey, you guys normally do an hour, but we can do whatever we want. This is our show. We can go over." So we're gonna head into the SKN news that we always run, and we got some things to run with. So hit it. We are going with what the hell is wrong with NECA? We got to start this out. NECA is making demands that I don't know as a just in any part makes any sense. But apparently they shipped out a wrong playset, which was Donatello's Sewer Lair. And some people didn't even ask for this set to be delivered to them. It just came to them. And then some people double shipped and there's a mistake. So NECA, instead of just saying, hey, we made a mistake, can you guys please send it back? They throw a little bit of a threatening letter out. And that was early in the week. And a lot of people did not appreciate that and this comes after the NECA customer service quality thing we had just a couple of weeks ago that they had this issue. So NECA basically said, we profusely apologize for the inconvenience. Upon receiving the diorama, we will provide you with $100 NECA store credit. Now, I did hear this earlier today, and I will say that this was absolutely the point. NECA's never sending you that $100 gift certificate. These people barely answer emails. So if you send it back, chances are it's not happening. And they
Also,
were saying that,
why would I send it back for $100 when I could sell it for $6?
yeah. And at first they were kind of like, hey, if you don't send it back, you kind of like, we're going to give you a little help from it. You might have problems getting some stuff in the future. And people were all upset, and they kind of went to all their social media points and let them know what they think. But instead of just saying, hey, we apologize, everyone, it's the situation happened. Oh no, they doubled it down this morning by said, by now you should have received a shipping label to return the misshipped item. If we do not receive the piece back in a few weeks, you are going to be charged for it and will be exempt from all of our future offerings. So we're saying we're not going to sell you shit in the future if you don't actually send this back. Please realize that by not returning this piece that was misshipped, you are taking it away from another collector. No, sir. You took it away from another collector by not knowing how to
Yeah.
manage your company properly.
All this
So-
tells me is that I should buy NECA figures now while they're cheap, because when they go out of business next month, they'll have collector's items.
Yes. Well, here's the thing that I think the NECA doesn't understand about the modern world and how things work. You can just clearly shut off your credit card. So good luck to you getting money out of something, or just change it and everything else like that. So NECA, use some common sense, but you cannot go around threatening customers, especially when you're selling $50 items. It's asinine. And this gets me to the point. The title of it is, and we're going to have to do this, NECA's bullshit, because that's what it is. Goodbye, NECA. I will not be purchasing from you. That is one of those things where I've drawn the line in the sand. No more NECA products. So now we're going to move on and everything. Did Absolute Batman sell 400,000 copies? Well, guess what? The first issue of DC Comics premiered in an all-in Absolute Universe title that reached an impressive milestone. The publisher recently announced that Scott Snyder and Nick Dragonis, Absolute Batman #1 so far, is the best-selling comic of 2024. This was reported by DC Comics. Mind you, let's think about this. DC Comics is reporting this. But the people over at Bleeding Cool and everyone else in the known universe said Dogman and the Scarlet Shredder, which had a 5 million copy print run in 2024. So I don't know where the numbers are kind of going here, from 400K to 5 million. And between March and June of this year, it sold 880,000 copies in the US alone, and sold 103,000 copies in that. Well, it sounds like the reason why DC's having some problems is that they're having an accounting problem. The people over there can't count because 5 million trumps 400,000. So, look, I don't know that the American Comics has a problem. One of the main problems they're having right now over DC Comics is that a complete idiot that's called Jim Lee is running the company. And he's good at drawing, but he's not good at accounting. And he's also not good at making statues. We just saw that last week. So I don't know what they're thinking, but there is a problem going on in Burbank. It is not just the bad broad statue. We will roll over to, if you got some bucks to spend and you're looking for some Black Friday deals and everything. Well, what's not better than having a auto shifting converting robot, Optimus Prime? Now, here's the thing: the early bird special over at RoboSun is they're giving you $150 off. So something that normally would cost you $600 is going to cost you $500 and some change. Now, it's not. I don't know if they're adding in shipping into that, but hey, if you wanted to get the Megatron that's like going for like $1,600 right now, well, right there, it's Christmas for something that you would want to buy. I thought that to say we're taking $150 off a $600 item, they probably just should have said a percentage, because that's a lot of money that you're spending for Christmas time. They're sounding like Hasbro on the hand. So we're going to see if anybody, anybody's buying this.
I mean, if you're buying this,
auto converting robot.
If you're buying this, you might as well say children's presents roll out, because that's the only thing you're affording with this big thing here. Dad's going to be in the garage with his Optimus and no presents for the kids.
And you must stay at least 5 feet away from this, because if you touch it, you're a dead child.
Yes, but Dad will have the point of hearing Peter Cullen's voice constantly saying "roll out." Like that.
Roll out.
It works, Daddy. So if it's worth it to you, $549 right now on Roboson.com. head over there and purchase that. Then Denzel said he's not done yet. When he said that somebody had said that Denzel was getting ready to retire and that's over with, but Denzel tells Esquire magazine, there's a problem here. I told Sony that I would do another Equalizer, and we're doing Equalizer 4 and 5. So now you can catch them in theaters pretty soon, and Gladiator 2. We're gonna see if that I've heard that's not doing well when it comes to some reviews, but everybody does say Denzel's fantastic. Look, he's probably one of the top 10 best actors on the planet right now. He has a cachet. I haven't seen one bad Equalizer. I thought all three of them were well. I can't wait to see him again. I'm glad that he was basically saying that he had projects that he was going to do if he only enjoyed it. Well, him and Antoine Fuqua are having a very fun time, and they must be enjoying this. I'm glad we're going to get that because it's way better than the CBS series that I will not mention. After 35 years, Milhouse is losing his voice. First of all, when I was reading this article and I heard this is the easiest money that you're ever going to make. Chances are this person doesn't even have to even go into the studios anymore. But apparently, Pamela Hayden is retiring. She is the voice of Milhouse, but not just Milhouse. Rod Flanders. I think every 96 episodes they let him speak. Jimbo Jones is going to be difficult to replace because that voice is fantastic. And they said that Hayden's last episode of Milhouse, Jimbo Jones will come Sunday, which this one befounded me. And the Treehouse of Horror. Now that's supposed to be a October release, but somehow they're sparing that one for the Treehouse of Horrors in November. But they say they are looking for casting, and just like Rick and Morty and all these other ones, if you lose somebody, you'll just replace them. So,
AI.
but
It's gonna be AI Simpsons AI version.
Yeah. 35 years though, a hell of a run and everything. Or like I like to say in Hollywood, it's easy money. So you get for 35 seasons, you've got house money right there. If you are a fan of our channel and you actually saw the countdown earlier, well, we're an Entertainment Earth affiliate, and Entertainment Earth is running a promotion right now that's on. And yes, we're going to mention that because they are an affiliate. They've got some of the Marvel Studios, Marvel Legends, so you can get Chris Evans, or you can get Tom Holland Spider-Man, or if you didn't pick up any of the shields through all the first movies, you can pick up the same exact shield just with new labeling for Brave New World. Now, the Brave New World shield is costing you $131, and I will say this as a toy broker for the toy stock market. I will tell you, hold off on this one. I got a feeling you're going to get this at discount from everything that's going on. For what they say Brave New World is, that price is not going to last for long. But the Chris Evans figure, it's a great figure if you didn't get the first time in Marvel Legends. They are slinging out the pricing. If you spend $10, orders over $100, you get $10 off. Orders over $200, $25 off. Orders over $300, $50 off. Free super saving shipping on orders 35 and plus. That's better than the normal because normally we're at 59. So they're extending to 39. That's actually pretty good. So if you have a chance to pick up not just these items, go over to Entertainment Earth. We have a link that's down in the description. It's something that you probably want to check out. And that seems like that is it, sir, for the PPI news this week. We will be back next week with something. Turn it back over to you, Chris.
Storm. Appreciate that, Mr. Storm. Those Spidey and Captain America figures look like absolute peg warmers. I gotta be honest with you, but everything else is very exciting. All the other Marvel Legends stuff. Just use our promo code. Not an ad. Just help support the show. Before we adjourn, I know there's a big announcement this weekend, Mr. Storm. Chet, you are headed to a pretty awesome mini con. Tell us about it.
Chet, I'll let you roll this one.
Yeah, so for those of you that do tune in, we had Nerds and Hip Hop on Wednesday on Toybox Chronicles, 7 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, 10 o'clock Eastern, and Nerds was talking about what the mini-con is. Even if you do have something to do on Sunday, it's in the Moreno Valley Mall this Sunday. Roll out and come check everything out. There's going to be cars and booths and toys and it's just a big cultural get together. It's free. You get to just pay for the gas to get there, go inside and walk around and check it out. Really awesome guy running that. We're excited to go over there and hang out for a little bit on Sunday and see what's going on. And we talked about how, you can make a whole day out of it because it's right by In-N-Out. And then when you're done with that, when you're wrapping up, you can, when you get there, actually in the morning, you can go get coffee at Coffee Bean, and then you can go get lunch at In-N-Out. On your way home, you can stop off at Costco and get gas and the rest of your groceries. So, it's all planned out. That's on chettrips.com. So, you go to chettrips.com for all your latest traveling and budget needs.com.
Amazing. I love it. Anything else, gentlemen?
Absolutely.
There is
one last
thing. Oh, I have one last thing. Then you could have,
Go ahead.
If there are any Star Trek fans out there, check out the short film that just came out. It's on YouTube. It is 765874 Unification. And they did some AI face replacement kind of stuff with William Shatner and using him also for some of it, and someone else playing Spock, but doing the face replacement. But it's very well done. It feels like Star Trek. It's short. It's like 8 minutes or something. But check it out if you are any kind of fan of the original series. It's really touching.
Absolutely. And one last thing, we met up with him today, formalizing something. You will start to see Richard from the KS Collectibles on the Chateau Nose Network. That is right. All of his customizable goodness will be rolling on this channel from this point on. He's a frequent guest host on most of our stuff, but he is now he's welcome to the network, baby. We didn't have a chain to give him, but you're welcome to the network.
Awesome, exciting
Welcome,
stuff.
sir.
Welcome. An amazing store too. Amazing store. So I love it. We narrowed down the top 5 vampire films. As always, check the channel for additional content. We've got Toybox Chronicles every Wednesday, 7 p.m. Pacific time. If you like toy related content, retrospect vaults. If you're into pro wrestling, we've got some content there, unboxing, all kinds of other things, new content coming on the channel. We appreciate your support. Please subscribe. We are going to end with our OG sponsor, and that is Toys vs. Games. Thank you very much, everyone, for tuning in, and we will see you next week, 7 p.m. Pacific time. Adios.
Toys versus
Games. I'm here with the man, the owner.
Tony at Toys vs. Games. Versus Games.